Hello, Theresa Momber here from craftingtheweb.blogspot.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make this fun Halloween card. Using images from a stamp set called Fanciful Fall from Gina Designs, I'm starting by inking up the smaller pumpkin with Memento Tuxedo black ink and stamping on white cardstock. I've stamped and cut out a second small pumpkin, which I will use as a mask. I'll place it on the first pumpkin and then ink the larger pumpkin and stamp that right over the first image, offset slightly. When I peel away the mask, both images show up with the small pumpkin appearing to be in front of the larger one. I'm coloring with Copic markers, starting with YR07. I'm intending my light source to be slightly to the right, so I'll focus my coloring with this darker orange to the left and in the creases on the pumpkins. Now I've switched to YR04, a slightly lighter orange, and I'll continue coloring, filling in a little further and working in tiny circles. And now a third shade of orange, YR12. I'll fill in almost all the way with this color. And then I like to use Y17 over the orange that I've already colored to give it a little brighter look. For the stems and leaves, I'm using YG95. I'll fill in most of this area, but leave a few small areas to be highlighted with a lighter color. And now, using YG03, I'm filling in those highlights and blending just a bit. With my coloring complete, I'm trimming around the pumpkins with scissors, and then I will set the image aside. For additional elements on my card, I'm using Spellbinders Die Delights Wrought Iron and the largest die template from Die Delights ATC. I'll run that through the Grand Caliber machine to cut, and then pass through the machine again using the pink embossing plate with tan matte. I used the wrought iron fence to cut and emboss engraving art paper from Royal and Langnickel. I can use my sanding block to sand away the black and allow silver portions to show through. It's a great look for Halloween. After sanding, I'll set that element aside. I used the largest of the ATC die templates to cut and emboss white cardstock. And with the cardstock still in the die template, I'm sponging using purple ink. I'm building the ink up very slowly, always working in a circular pattern and keeping the sponge dauber moving on the cardstock. For a smoother look on my finished project, I like to tap off the excess ink onto scratch paper after each time I re-ink the sponge dauber. And then just keep building the ink up until I'm satisfied with the results. Now I'm switching to eggplant ink. I'm just going to work along the bottom edge, again building the ink up very slowly. I'm using the tree from the Fanciful Fall stamp set to stamp branches in the top corners. I have a piece of burlap cardstock trimmed to 4 3/4 inches by 3 1/2 inches, and I'm layering that with a piece of black cardstock that's trimmed slightly larger. My card base is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 inches, and I will adhere the burlap layers directly to the card base. Next, I'm adhering dimensional foam squares to the back of the sponged layer so that I can adhere that to the burlap layer. When working with smaller projects, I frequently cut the foam squares in half. They work just as well and a package lasts a lot longer. And now I'm adding a little adhesive to the back of my fence so that I can adhere it to the card. Once again, I'm using the 3D foam squares and placing those on the back of my pumpkin image. And with the pumpkins adhered in place, all I need is a sentiment. I stamped the greeting on white cardstock and trimmed to 1/2 by 2 1/2 inches and adhered with foam squares. And that completes my project. Thanks for watching.